Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. I got a lot I want to get through in this video, so we're going to get straight to it. This is from Digital Asset Investor, and this is more on that Prometheum debacle that we've been covering within the community. It says this is not a smoking gun; it's an atomic bomb. The SEC is setting up a Chinese backdoor in crypto while trying to stop American companies such as Ripple and Coinbase and every other U.S. player. Red alert. So let's take a quick listen into this.
Has is we have SEC qualified tokens. Now, what does that mean? When you do a Reg A plus offering and any sort of public offering in the United States, the SEC either has to qualify or register those securities. And it's a bit of a process. It takes 4 to 6 months. But what that means is it basically opens up all the possibilities to you, because what you allow for is tokens that are available to all investors and free trading on the secondary market once listed on an ATS. And I would argue that that's the holy grail that's necessary in order for the token economy to flourish. Next, let's look at our issuance platform. So on the issuance side, you have a potential issuer, and they basically want to offer a token compliantly under the federal securities and laws in the United States. They fill out a Reg A plus offering, and they get it qualified by the SEC, which is not, it's weird because qualified essentially is tacit approval of the offering. When the SEC gives its tacit approval, its qualification, that token becomes free trading and available to all investors. And again, that's super important for this economy to flourish. How is Prometheum going to list companies on its ATS? Where are we going to get companies from? A ATS, meaning an exchange, an alternative trading system, which is the equivalent of an exchange, needs an issuer pipeline. You need product by which to list on your platform. The second part of our issuer pipeline, there we go, is Guangzhou-related entities. Prometheum's lead investor and technical co-founder is a company called Guangzhou Shanghai Blockchain, which is probably the largest and most capable blockchain company in the world. And they've invested in a multitude of companies that are part of their network that they anticipate listing on the Prometheum platform to do an issuance and then to list on our secondary market. And what's wonderful there is that the quality of their projects is immaculate. It's a wonderful product.
So keep that in mind. Remember, Guangzhou investing in a multitude of companies, right? And they're in a sense creating this network. So just like, we've been uncovering and connecting dots within the XRP community, this all leads back to China. The whole ETH stuff is massive, and as we connect more dots, we start to see the bigger picture, right? So we're going to continue on. There's another video here that he had posted. I'm not going to play it though, because it's about 5 minutes, but I highly recommend you come into DAI's tweet threads and check it out. It says 2018 Shanghai International Blockchain Week. I just said it. Guangzhou Blockchain Labs, China. Feature speaker Aaron Kaplan, co-founder of Prometheum. Other speakers: Vitalik Buterin, Ethereum founder, Consensus, and the likes. It's crazy. And there's some more down here in the thread. But I'm going to continue on here. So just a kind of a quick spin, I wanted to throw this up because we have talked about Jed McCaleb in our previous video, and Weezy X hits it on the head. Like, why is Jed McCaleb like untouchable? Like, why wasn't he brought up like Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse when it comes to their so-called sales of these securities, as the SEC says? Why is he like not being put in the fire as well? And there's been some more connections, as he's connected to this whole Guangzhou group, developed a sandbox for blockchain projects in China called One Cloud. Jed McCaleb is a member, and Weezy X always does a solid job of finding stuff. But I just kind of wanted to throw that in there so you can kind of see how we're connecting more dots to this Guangzhou group and this entity and its tentacles that are in a whole bunch of other platforms and companies. It's kind of crazy. So we're going to continue on here. And I wanted to throw this Cowboy Crypto tweet thread out talking about Hashkey, because remember, Hashkey is a part of it. This China operation that we've been talking about within the community. You have the Guangzhou, he says the Guangzhou puzzle, and the whole Prometheum, and the Ethereum Foundation and Ethereum and Consensus. Everything's connected. And I highly recommend you come in and read this 22 tweet thread here. It's super intriguing, super interesting, and just making more sense of everything, utilizing other people within the community that's been finding stuff. But we're going to continue because there's a lot I want to cover. So this is from DAI as well. It says Congress and Representative Blaine may need to have another cheat chat with Prometheum CEO. May want to ask the SEC about their part in this too. So let's take a quick listen into this.
Mr. Kaplan, what percentage of your company is owned by a Chinese entity?
I think approximately 20%.
20% of it. How much influence do they have over your company?
They have the same rights as other shareholders.
How much access do they have to intellectual property?
Wang Zheng has no access to any Prometheum code or technology or system, server, or customer data.
If they're on the board of directors and have access to all your data from the standpoint of being an investor, how do you answer that question like that?
The bylaws were changed in the filing that was filed with the SEC on November 2021, and they basically limit who has access to data, including directors.
Okay, where is the data stored right now?
In the United States. The third advantage is on the tech side. Prometheum's lead investor and technical co-founder is Shanghai Wanzheng Blockchain. And basically, we have 50 plus blockchain engineers working on the Prometheum project. Shanghai Wanzheng Blockchain is considered the preeminent force when it comes to blockchain engineering talent in the world, and they're really our partner. They're not a third-party service provider, they're a co-founder of this company. Their vice chairman, Dr. Shao, sits on our board, and we work with them hand in hand. And with their expertise, we've been able to rock and roll. And we're going to be demoing for FINRA, we anticipate, next month.
Yeah, and it's not... So literally just a blatant lie. I mean, they're literally saying, no, they're in a sense equals. You know, we're working hand in hand with them to build out this thing. In reality, this Prometheum is a part of this web or this puzzle, as Cowboy Crypto says, when it comes to Wanzheng or whatever that name is, just this network that leads back to China. It's crazy. We're going to continue on here. Mr. Huber says the only two entrepreneurs in crypto who publicly claim they are allowed by the SEC to sell tokens to retail investors. And then you have Kaplan here, Aaron Kaplan, and then you have Joseph Lubin from Consensus. And then WeezyX says it makes sense that that one of the most corrupt, least transparent crypto founders like Joseph Lubin and Vitalik Buterin would do business with one of the most corrupt, least transparent companies in the world, Wang Zheng. So just connecting more things, and this is just kind of, you know, putting a little stamp on things that we've been finding within the community. And it comes back to full circle from when we were listening to DAI and the rest of the community. This is before I was just right before I was making videos. You know, we were talking about these disguised wells and all this stuff, and now it's coming full circle. So now you say Cointelegraph states that Lubin and DeLario bought 95% of all Ether in pre-sale in the ICO. Other sources also come up with a 95% number for some reason. Why? The only thing we know for sure is that Lubin called to deceive the public by disguising the well holdings. So remember that infamous audio clip that DAI posted and the rest of the community members have been posting when he was talking about, yeah, you can, you know, use different emails, you know, and pretty much be designated it from different entities, so you can not be a red flag or triggering a red flag within the network, and you can just, you know, have smaller you know, portions and sales, pretty much disguising it. And there's pretty much saying that, yeah, he has majority of it, him and Consensus, and, you know, the likes of people like him. It's just more connections. And then look at this. Remember, you have JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, you have these big players, right? The incumbents, as we talk about on this channel. You have the SEC chairman Gensler, and, you know, I'm not going to get into politics, but they talk about, you know, the political side of things that are trying to push this this narrative and this agenda to stop and stifle and hinder crypto. It's all about gaining a bigger piece of the pie. They see where this technology is headed. They see the impact that it's going to have within the entire world in the current, you know, in going forward financial system, and just the how we operate in our world moving forward. It's all about a bigger piece of the pie. Okay. And this is the video that we surfaced and we covered on this channel. DAI and, you know, the rest of the XRP community have covered it as well. But I just wanted to quickly play maybe 20 seconds of it just to kind of reiterate. It says the Ethereum community says there is not a single piece of evidence for JP Morgan financing Consensus in Ethereum.
Consensus has been very prominent since the start of the Ethereum ecosystem. I can attest that JP Morgan was there right from the start before public mainnet was even launched.
JP Morgan moves $6 trillion around the world every day, very efficiently, very quietly, very effectively, and very cost efficient. It's all digital money moving around the world. So you have to say, what is the problem we're trying to solve? And so again, I'm not against the technology, but creating money out of thin air without having to go.
So obviously he goes into a whole spiel. Not going to play a whole thing, but it says Consensus and JP Morgan have been collaborating for many years now, from driving the creation of ETH Alliance in 2016 to shared work on consortium networks. We look forward to prioritizing interoperability standards and smooth transitions through upcoming ETH mainnet upgrades. So literally, I came down here and I was like, fear-inducing agenda, head fake the retail investors, lie to the masses, accumulate the dip equals gain a bigger piece of the pie to repeat the monopolistic cycle. They didn't expect John Deaton and XRP Army. We're not dumb. Dot connection experts in this community. And that's literally what it's been happening within this community. Timelines, connecting the dots. I keep talking about, we got those pictures as little kids connecting, dot one and dot two. And once we got done, we saw the bigger picture. That's kind of what's happening. And it all leads back to China. And Ashley Prosper is hitting on the head with some more of this stuff right here. This whole ETHgate stuff. It says XRP community for years. The sleuths have been sleuthing and the community has been researching. So why does it feel like we are barely scratching the surface of hashtag ETHgate? And I want you to think about something, because DAI hit it on the head. It was about when the whole FTX and Do Kwon and Terra Luna stuff happened, and there was just devastation within the markets. DAI, with his level head and that accent, that Southern Georgian accent that he has, he was saying, "Hey, don't let this fool you. This is a big deal. It's not bigger than ETHgate," and all this is proving it. Even it's already happened. FTX has already happened. No Kwon, Terra Luna. Obviously, there's stuff still ongoing, but it's like, look at how things are coming back full circle. Now that the attention's back where it's supposed to be. XRP community's been here, but now that you have the rest of the industry got their eyes laser focused on what's happening with this whole ETHgate, SEC, XRP or Ripple, and the SEC litigation and so on. Ashley Prosper hits on the head, says, barely scratching the surface of ETHgate. The names and the entities involved go on and on and on. JP Morgan, Consensus, Prometheum, Wanzhang, CCP, SEC, ETH Seuss, Vitalik Buterin, Joseph Lubin, Aaron Kaplan, Bill Himman, Jay Clayton, Michael Seaman, Valerie Shapina, Gary Gensler, Jeff Spetcher, Bakkt, ICE, Coinbase, Elizabeth Warren, EEA, Yi Tank, Steven Nerioff, Alibaba, Simpson Thatcher, Ethereum Foundation, Sullivan Cromwell, FTX, Sam Beckman-Fried, or SBF, Caroline Ellison, Maxine Waters. Feel free to add any names I missed. The picture I'm getting, along with many others, is certain people want to control the crypto industry. Remember, we were just talking about the bigger piece of the pie. That's what it's about, okay? And it's not just about, controlling the companies. It's another big part of it is custodying when it comes to the incumbents, right? The already established JP Morgan, the Goldman Sachs, and the likes, right? They're going to come out and, we're ready. We can custody all your digital assets. You don't need these new emerging, companies. Come with us. We've been around for a while, right? And that's when Chairman Gensler and the SEC and all the likes are going to flip the script and be like, oh, we're good to go. We're going to come out with some regulations to do all these things. It's all to fit their narrative, to get a bigger piece of the pie. Going to continue, says they don't want free and fair markets. They want total control and monopoly. Remember, I said monopolistic cycle, right? But not for themselves. No, they would trade freely on designated crypto security exchanges designed for the rich, whilst they force the masses into two they have selected for us, Bitcoin and ETH. Well, to that I say no. I don't want to slow or the expensive. I want fast, cheap, and stable. I want XRP. Ashley Prosper hit it on the head. I mean, literally, we are in this community. I'm gonna speak for myself. The more I read, the more I find out, even with, all the haters and the fear inducing, narratives and agendas that are out there. The more I see it, the more I believe XRP and Ripple and the XRPL and even our community. We've been the adults in the room, as we say in this community. We have been. Even look, the likes of Charles Hoskinson, right, calls us, grand conspiracists, right? And then when the tables turn and he actually gets, the microscope turned on him, what does he do? He seeks out, peace with the community. A lot of us were upset about it, but most of us are like, hey, man, all right, cool. Water under the bridge. We're not going to forget. We're going to forgive for sure. Let's move forward. Let's fight the good fight. Being the adult in the room, or being the bigger person, if you will. It's crazy. Tom Emmer hits on the head here too, and there's a fat thread of a lot of people putting it, and he goes, hashtag fire Gary Gensler. So, we're still waiting for that new day. Obviously, politics are a whole nother animal, and with political season coming, who knows what's really going to happen here. Eleanor Terrett had put this up about Binance. I just quickly wanted to touch on it, just a kind of side note. Actually, I'll just come over here. And this is from Binance US. It says, want to provide an update on the current battle. Binance.us finds itself in with the SEC. We are pleased to inform you that the court did not grant the SEC's request for a throw and freeze of assets on our platform, which was clearly unjustified by both facts and the law. So if for those of you that haven't been paying attention to that, it's just shameful because the SEC tried to do that, the throw and freeze of the assets, which in turn only hurts the investors that they're so-called set out to protect. So just another example of how they're just shameful. They have no business being in the position that they're being, especially from taxpayer dollars when they're supposed to be protecting us. Anyways, we continue, says, instead, we are able to reach a court-ordered agreement with the SEC that allows us to continue our ordinary course of business. It says there has never been any evidence presented by the SEC concerning misuse of customer assets. In fact, the SEC lawyers conceded in court earlier this week when asked by the judge that they had no evidence suggesting that any such thing had occurred. The SEC's request would have effectively shuttered our business, which is consistent with the agency's continuing attempts to kill the crypto industry by any means, even by making allegations that are not supported by the facts. This fight has damaged our business and our reputation, but not our fighting spirit or our resolve to defend ourselves against unwarranted charges and regulation by enforcement tactics that do not belong in our system of justice. We look forward to continuing to defend ourselves in court. Hey, shout out Binance US, man. The fight continues, man. There's so much I wanted to cover. I was really intrigued by, the tweets that I covered in this video, and I hope you found it useful. We're going to continue to post. Make sure you get involved and you continue to fight the good fight alongside with us. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.